The Nexus Invitation. The curved viewport in Alara Reed's quarters framed the blue-green marble of Terra Nova, its atmosphere swirled with clouds like delicate brushstrokes. After 3 years aboard Helios Nexus, the sight still captivated her. The massive rotating station served as humanity's diplomatic foothold among the stars, hosting representatives from 7 spacefaring civilizations at the edge of known space. Liaison Reed, the station's AI, announced, "Ambassador Talix of the Nivari Collective requests your presence in private quarters." Delta Section 2000 hours. Alara's eyebrows rose. The Nivari were among the most mysterious species aboard Helios. Crystalline-based beings with translucent skin that shimmered with internal light. They communicated through a complex language of luminescence and sound. Most intriguing was their family-based diplomatic structure. 3 siblings represented their entire species, with Talix as the eldest and most enigmatic. Reason for meeting? Alara asked, smoothing her diplomatic uniform. Not specified, the AI replied. Message includes, "My siblings doubt your species' sincerity. Show them you're worth it tonight," puzzling. In 3 years of careful negotiations, Alara had never been invited to their private quarters. The Nivari kept to themselves, conducting minimal required diplomacy while observing the other species with their faceted eyes that seemed to assess everything. Alara moved through the station's central promenade where the artificial gravity created by rotation allowed diverse species to mingle comfortably. A pair of amorphous Zelen floated past, their gelatinous forms contained in hovering environmental suits. 2 reptilian Syraxian merchants haggled with a human trader over rare mineral rights. Overhead, maintenance drones darted between lighting panels, keeping the vast cylindrical space functioning. At her office, Alara reviewed everything she knew about Nivari customs. Their society valued emotional honesty and direct communication. They found human diplomatic niceties confusing, possibly suspicious. Was this invitation a test, a trap, or something else entirely? As the station's day cycle dimmed toward evening, Alara prepared carefully. She chose a formal diplomatic tunic in deep blue, a color the Nivari could perceive well with their unique visual spectrum. No scents, as the aliens were sensitive to artificial fragrances. No recording devices, which they considered deeply offensive. Walking through the gradually emptying corridors toward Delta Section, Alara felt the familiar thrill of first contact protocols, even after years of experience. Whatever waited beyond Talix's door would shape relations between their species for generations. The invitation pulsed on her datapad. "My siblings doubt you. Show them you're worth it tonight." Chamber of Light. The door to Talix's quarters opened silently, revealing a space unlike any Alara had seen aboard Helios Nexus. The walls curved organically, covered in bioluminescent patterns that shifted subtly, reminiscent of underwater caves on Terra Nova. The light ebbed and flowed in blues and purples, casting gentle shadows across furniture that seemed grown rather than manufactured. "Liaison Reed," came a melodic voice from the center of the room. "You honor us with your presence." Talix stood beside a low table formed from what appeared to be a single piece of polished obsidian. The Nivari ambassador stood nearly 2 meters tall, with a slender frame and skin that shimmered with internal light. Faceted eyes caught the room's illumination, refracting it into tiny rainbows. Unlike other diplomatic meetings where Talix wore formal coverings, here in private quarters the ambassador's crystalline appendages were visible. Long, graceful limbs ending in 5-fingered hands not unlike Alara's own. "The honor is mine." "Ambassador?" Alara replied, carefully maintaining eye contact at the level Nivari culture considered respectful. "Your invitation was unexpected but welcome." A ripple of blue light pulsed beneath Talix's skin. Amusement, Alara had learned. "Please sit. Here we need not be bound by titles." The seating arrangement was surprisingly comfortable, adapted for human physiology. As Alara settled, she noticed crystalline sculptures throughout the room, each capturing and transforming light in mesmerizing ways. "You admire our art?" Talix asked, pouring a clear liquid into 2 glasses. "These are memory crystals. Each contains experiences from our homeworld." "They're beautiful," Alara said, accepting the offered drink. It tasted faintly of starfruit and mint, familiar flavors replicated for her benefit. "You wonder why I invited you here," Talix said. Not a question, but a statement. "My siblings Nerix and Vala believe humans are too unpredictable for true alliance. They observe your kind's short history, your rapid technological advancement, your emotional variability." Ilara nodded slowly. "Valid concerns. We are young compared to the Nivari. Yet I see something different," Talix continued, leaning forward slightly. A pattern of golden light rippled across the ambassador's chest, the Nivari expression of sincerity. "Your adaptability, your curiosity, your capacity for connection across differences. And your siblings? They watch us now," Talix said simply. "Not physically present, but through these." The ambassador gestured to small crystalline nodes embedded in the walls. "They observe our interaction, seeking evidence for their doubts, or reason to reconsider." Understanding dawned on Ilara. This wasn't merely a diplomatic meeting. It was a test, perhaps even an audition, with the future relationship between their species hanging in the balance. "Then let us give them something worth watching," Ilara said, straightening her posture. "What would you like to know about humanity, Talix?" The ambassador's skin flashed with approval. "Not what I want to know. What you choose to share. That will tell us everything." Trust beneath the stars, the artificial night cycle deepened outside the viewport, stars emerging against the constructed darkness of Helios Nexus. Inside Talix's quarters, the bioluminescent patterns dimmed to a soft glow, creating an intimate atmosphere. 3 hours had passed in conversation that flowed from formal diplomatic exchange to something more personal. "Your homeworld sounds beautiful," Ilara said, leaning forward. "Crystalline forests that sing in the wind, I can hardly imagine it." "As I struggled to envision your oceans," Talix replied. "Vast bodies of liquid water teeming with life. Our scientists were fascinated by the concept." They sat closer now, the initial formality between them dissolved by shared stories. Ilara had explained human concepts of family, so different from the Nivari's communal raising of offspring. Talix had described the consciousness-merging rituals that bound their species together across vast distances. "May I?" Talix asked suddenly, extending a crystalline hand toward Ilara's. When she nodded, their fingers touched, warm human skin against cool, faceted appendages. A gentle tingle ran up Ilara's arm, not unpleasant, but strange. "What was that?" "A small exchange of bioelectrical energy," Talix explained. "Through touch, my kind can sense emotional states. Yours is complex, curiosity, caution, something else beneath," Ilara smiled. "Honesty between species is rare, Talix. I find you fascinating." The Nivari's skin pulsed with soft pink light, a reaction Ilara hadn't observed before. "As do my siblings, though they would not admit it readily. They fear what they don't understand." "That's universal, I think," Ilara said. "Fear of the unknown." "Indeed." Talix rose, moving to a recessed alcove in the wall. "Which brings me to the true purpose of tonight's invitation." The ambassador retrieved a small crystalline device that fit in the palm of one hand. It glowed from within, casting rainbow patterns across both their faces. "This is a resonance stone," Talix explained. "Among my people, it facilitates deep understanding between individuals. A sharing of perspectives, memories, emotions. A mind-reading device?" Ilara asked cautiously. "No," Talix said firmly. "Nothing is taken without consent. Nothing is shared that you choose to withhold. But it allows a level of communion that transcends the limitations of language." Ilara understood immediately. "Your siblings want to know if humans are capable of true connection." "If we can be trusted, yes," Talix admitted. "Our history contains painful lessons about alliances with species who concealed their true intentions. My siblings fear repeating those mistakes. Outside, in the station's vast circular promenade, other diplomats continued their careful negotiations, unaware of the profound moment unfolding in these private quarters. The future of human-Nivari relations might depend on what happened next. "And you, Talix?" Ilara asked softly. "What do you believe?" The ambassador's inner light brightened. "I believe some risks are worth taking." The challenge, the resonance stone, sat between them on the obsidian table, its gentle pulsing synchronized with Talix's own internal luminescence. Ilara studied it, recognizing this moment for what it was, a crossroads in interspecies diplomacy that no training manual had prepared her for. "How does it work?" she asked. Talix's faceted eyes caught the light. "We each hold it between our palms. I guide the connection initially, as I am familiar with the process. The stone amplifies our bioelectrical fields, creating a bridge between nervous systems. Is it safe for humans? I've consulted with your medical databases. Our physiologies are different, but compatible in this regard." Talix's skin rippled with blue reassurance. "The experience is difficult to describe, like standing in two places simultaneously. Seeing through 4 eyes instead of 2. Ilara took a deep breath. "And your siblings are watching?" "Yes, their judgment will be influenced by what transpires. But Ilara," Talix used her name for the first time, "this is not merely for them. True understanding between our kinds begins with individuals willing to see beyond their own perspectives." Decision made, Ilara extended her hands. "I'm ready." They enclosed the crystal between their palms, Ilara's warm fingers interlacing with Talix's cool, faceted ones. The stone warmed, its light intensifying until it seemed to pulse in rhythm with Ilara's heartbeat. Then, she stood on a crystalline plain, violet sky overhead, wind carrying sounds like distant chimes. Emotion washed through her, belonging, connection, the sensation of being part of something vast. Memories not her own flickered, growing up among identical siblings, learning to distinguish individual consciousness within collective thought, the first voyage beyond their star system, the wonder and terror of encountering difference. Simultaneously, she remained aware of sitting across from Talix, whose expression reflected surprise and wonder. For Talix was experiencing terra nova, the weight of rain on skin, the smell of ocean spray, the complex dance of human social interaction, the fierce independence and stubborn hope that drove humanity to reach for the stars despite their fragility. Neither noticed the door sliding open, nor the 2 tall figures entering silently. Minutes or hours later, time seemed meaningless during the connection. The resonant stone dimmed gradually. Ilara felt herself returning fully to her body, the echo of Talix's consciousness fading like music heard from a distance. When she opened her eyes, she found herself looking not only at Talix, but at 2 additional Nivari standing behind the ambassador. Nerix and Vala, the siblings, had identical crystalline structures but different internal light patterns, one pulsing amber, the other a steady green. "You've experienced our perspective," said the amber-lit one. Nerix, their voice cooler than Talix's. "Few non-Nivari have been granted such privilege." "And what did you learn?" asked Vala, the green-illuminated sibling. Ilara met their faceted gaze steadily. "That difference need not mean division. That understanding requires vulnerability from both sides." Talix's skin glowed with warm approval. "And now, siblings, what is your judgment?" New Horizons. The 3 Nivari stood in a triangle formation, their internal lights pulsing in synchronized patterns that Ilara recognized as their native communication. Though she couldn't understand the silent exchange, the intensity suggested significance. She waited, feeling the weight of the moment on her shoulders, not just as Ilara Reed, but as a representative of humanity. Finally, Nerix turned toward her. The amber light beneath their crystalline form had softened to a warmer hue. "We have observed your interaction with our sibling," they said formally. "The resonant stone cannot lie, nor can it be deceived. What it revealed about your species through you is unexpected." "Unexpected how?" Ilara asked. "Your kind exists in isolation," Vala explained, green light flickering thoughtfully. "Each consciousness separate, yet you maintain connection through means we find inefficient. Language, expression, touch. Despite this limitation, you achieved harmony with Talix during resonance. This suggests adaptability we had not anticipated." Talix moved to Ilara's side. "What my siblings hesitate to say is that they were wrong about humans. They believed your evolutionary path, focused on individual survival rather than collective consciousness, made true alliance impossible." "And now?" Ilara asked. Now we recognize potential, Narek said. Differences that might complement rather than conflict. The implications were enormous. The Naivari controlled technologies centuries beyond human development, particularly in the fields of quantum communication and stellar engineering. Their support in the galactic community could transform humanity's position among the stars. This is only a beginning, Talix cautioned, sensing Ilara's excitement. Trust between our peoples must be built carefully, deliberately. But it can be built, Ilara said. It wasn't a question. Yes, all three siblings answered in unison. Their lights synchronized in a pattern Ilara had never seen before, concentric rings of blue-white brilliance emanating outward. Tomorrow, Vala said, we will contact your government to propose formal treaty negotiations. Tonight, Talix added, extending a crystalline hand toward Ilara, we honor the bridge builder. Outside the viewport, the first hints of the station's artificial dawn cycle began. Stars fading as simulated sunlight gradually increased. Helios Nexus would soon awaken to a day unlike any before it, the day human-Nivari relations formally began. As Ilara took Talix's offered hand, she felt the subtle tingle of their bioelectrical fields interacting, no longer strange but familiar, even comforting. In that touch lay the promise of understanding across difference, of connection despite distance. To new horizons, Ilara said. The three Nivari siblings' light pulsed in unified response, illuminating the chamber with possibilities yet to be explored. In the rotation of Helios Nexus, as in the dance of stars and planets beyond, nothing remained static. Change came, whether sought or feared. Tonight, because two individuals had dared to truly see one another, that change promised hope. Would you like me to continue with any modifications, or would you prefer I create another part?